May 9th, 2022. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 257 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
Mike, I'm going to the World Series of Poker.
You are?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yep.
Excellent.
I made the decision. I got all the approvals necessary. Everything signed.
Yep. All right.
And I decided, well, okay, I better go.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an opportunity.
So when are you going?
Okay, so just FYI, it's not the main event.
Yeah, right.
I honestly can't see myself ever doing the
long.
main event.
It's too long.
Right. It's not so much the money, but that would be a consideration.
Right.
It's $10,000. But yeah, the length, I don't know that I would have the stamina for it.
No.
And I'm not a tournament guy, really.
Right.
And I'm not a big fan of Texas Hold'em.
Right.
It's just not my game, right?
Game. Although you have like a 97% chance of winning, but that money's meaningless to you because, you know, it's just too much time. You just don't have that kind of time in your life. What would you win, you know?
Yeah.
Some millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're the favorite, so I don't blame you, though.
Yeah.
Time is precious.
That's right. Yeah. Would
especially
it have been
at our
worth
age.
The time that I lost. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to be participating in Event 7 this year. It is Omaha High Low, also known as Omaha 8 or Omaha 8 and better. It's a split pot game, high splits with low. In order to win low, your hand has to be 8 high or lower.
Better, yeah.
So sometimes there is no low, right? So sometimes, and then other times maybe you have the high and the low, and you split the pot. Because the way Omaha works, it's structured like Texas Hold'em, except you get 4 cards down, and the rule is you have to use exactly 2 of your whole cards,
right,
and 3 from the board. It's not like Texas Hold'em when you can use any combination. However,
you don't have to use the same 2 for high and low.
Correct, right.
So you could win high and low by using 2 different cards. You could have the wheel, you know, ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, and win low, but then have like a, you know, maybe a full house.
Or you could have a higher straight than that, too.
Right.
I mean, a lot of times the wheel will scoop.
Right.
But
you could have a 6 in your hand, and you could beat the other straight with, you know, a 6 high straight.
The other thing, too, is this is a limit tournament. Limit better suits a game like Omaha 8.
Right. Split pot games are better if they're limited. Right.
Sometimes Omaha, you'll hear about pot limit Omaha High. And even some places will deal pot limit Omaha 8. But Omaha 8, I think, it works better as a limit game. So this is a limit tournament. So the big difference there is, well, nobody can lose their entire stack on the first hand. Right. It's limit.
Right.
So it's going to be a while before we actually start losing people in the tournament. Right. So, but yeah, so I'm going to do it.
I think, too, also, Omaha, in my opinion, is better suited to players who are patient.
Okay, yeah, it's true. Hand selection is really important in Omaha 8.
Right.
And aces are so powerful in that game.
Much more powerful than people think, as opposed to Texas Hold'em.
There are very few starting hands without an ace that I will play in Omaha 8.
Right.
Some are coordinated and, you know, whatever, but really, I'm looking for that ace or I'm folding most of the time.
Right. That's why I'm saying it's a patient person's game.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you know, which suits you.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
even though, you know, I'm kind of OCD, I do.
You're patient when it comes to playing poker hands. Yeah.
So
that's why you're favored to win the tournament, Mark.
Right. Well, luckily,
I mean, people are dropping out right now as we talk that you've announced this. There are people, I'm not playing in that. It'll probably turn out to be you and like 4 other guys. You all made the final table.
Luckily, I've got an inflated enough opinion of myself that I actually think I could win this thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm not joking.
Every poker player needs that.
I think you could win it too. Honestly, I think you could win it too.
All right,
I mean,
well, thank you.
You know, if we were splitting the money, let's say we were going to go in halvesies or something, I'd pick you to play. I wouldn't pick me. You're way more patient.
Okay, I agree with you there.
Yeah.
I'll just be truthful and say I'd rather have me playing than you.
Right.
Yeah.
If we were bowling or playing basketball, I'd pick me.
Oh, in a second. That's true, right? So anyway, June 3rd through the 5th. That's the other reason it's over a weekend.
Right.
You know, Friday through Sunday. It's a 3-day event, only 3 days.
Right.
Although I'm sure I'll be exhausted. Oh my gosh, if I could finish the money, I'd be just thrilled. But so that's the plan.
What do you think the payout will be?
Well, it's a $1,500 entry fee, and last year's winner won about $163,000.
Nice.
So, yeah.
What are your plans for that $163? Like a a new set of luggage, or maybe get your wife a new toaster oven.
Maybe a toaster oven.
Yeah.
Yeah, or a microwave toaster oven combo. Do they have any of those?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Or you could maybe take her to like Italy.
That's another option too.
Take my wife to Italy?
Yeah, I was going to say, sounds like it's what are you going to do with the $163,000?
Oh, I'm going to Italy.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
So you're going to come with me to Vegas?
Oh, God, I'd love to. When is it?
June 3rd. So I'll probably leave the day
June
before.
3rd.
So I'll leave like June 2nd, which is a Thursday. Probably just drive.
No, I probably can't. I would love to go and just hang out with you.
Yeah. I was talking to the poker guys, right? This is so much a different trip because I'm not going to be gambling otherwise, right?
No,
I'm going to be exhausted.
Yeah.
So I'm only going to be playing poker and
Boy, I would
eating
go.
or whatever.
I wonder how close I could stand to your actual table.
I think pretty close, Mike.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. I think so.
Oh, God, I'd love to go and just watch.
All right. Well,
I could intimidate people. Mark, I'll walk around the table and just intimidate people.
what are you going to say to them?
Oh, you know me. I can find a lot to say.
All right. So on the last episode, you were going to pressure me into going to the World Series of Poker. It worked. So now I'm going to pressure you into coming with me.
Going along with you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll have to get the forms, my
you get
permission
your forms
slip
signed
signed.
up too. I understand. Well, we are recording this episode moments after the end of the Kentucky Derby. And Mike, you and I last night, we were talking about how, on the show, let's talk about Mattress Mack and the big bets that he planned on make. And
we were talking about it just last night.
Yeah.
Because it is kind of interesting how he changes the whole thing.
Right, and we will talk about that here in a few minutes. But for anybody who watched the race, or you're probably hearing this a couple days later,
right,
at least, oh my gosh, what a result, what a finish.
Jeez.
80-1 long shot. Rich Strike won the Kentucky Derby.
And the best thing is that 3 days ago, that horse was not in the
Not even in the field.
Not even in the field. He only got in because a horse dropped out.
There were scratches,
There were two scratches.
Yep.
They called them up, and they were thinking about taking it to somewhere back east to run in some regular race like next week on Wednesday or something. And, can you make it to the Kentucky Derby? Yeah, I guess. I guess we'll show up.
Yeah. When they were interviewing the owner and the trainer afterwards, they were obviously in shock, right? It was like, what? Did you think that? Because a lot of times when they ask the trainers, how's your horse? Do you think he's got a chance? Oh, yeah, we've got. And these guys were like, no way.
Well, and two, you're going off in the last post position.
Yes, right. It's something else. It's the second longest shot to ever win. The longest shot was back in 1913. A horse named Dunrail, I think I'm pronouncing that right, went off at 91-1. So this is the second longest shot. And Mike, I'll tell you,
it was a totally different sport back then.
Well, sure, that's a lot of different things too. Absolutely. Yeah. We didn't watch the race together, but we both watched it live.
Right.
And Epicenter, it's like, here comes Epicenter, and it's like, okay, well, Zandon's kind of giving him a run for the money, but
they were neck.
He's
they were
holding it.
Neck and neck.
So Epicenter, and then it's like, what?
Yeah.
Where did this come from?
And at the mile mark, that horse was back. You would have looked at that. If you just stopped it right there, you would have, there's no way this horse is going to win. There's like 8 horses in front of him or whatever. And, he's the long shot. And his engine's fired and he just took off. And did you see after the race how hyper he was, that horse?
Yes, yeah.
He kept trying to bite the horse that's leading him.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. He was fired up.
Yeah, that was something else. Well, so Rich Strike won. Epicenter, who was the favorite, came in second. And Zandon, who was, I think, number 3 favorite, came in third. So,
and it's funny because your pick before the race was Epicenter.
Yeah.
My pick was Zandon.
Right? Yeah. I don't think anybody in our family, nobody picked Rich Strike.
No, I have all the picks from my family,
Well, so Rich Strike paid, just for a regular $2 win ticket, $163.60.
Wow.
The $2 exacta paid over $4,100. That's where you have to pick the first 2 horses in order. Right?
Yeah.
The $1 trifecta, where you have to pick the first 3 horses in order, paid almost $15,000, about $14,800.
Yeah, that's a nice hit.
And then the $1 superfecta, again, you got to pick all 4 horses in order. $320,000, a little bit more.
Well, and the 4th horse was quite a long shot.
Yeah, that was a bit of a long shot too. Yeah. So that was really hard to pick.
One thing about the superfecta I like is you can make a 10-cent bet.
Right, yeah. So even though it says, a dollar bet, there's so many different combinations. We were figuring this out before the show started, Mike, and just for this many horses, 20 horses, we figured out it was like 116,000 different combinations, right?
So if you bet 10 cents on every combination, you'd have to spend almost $12,000, $11,600.
Right.
But you would have won $32,000.
Well, okay, in this case, yes. But if you did that in every race, you'd end up losing most of the time.
Because the 4 favorites would go 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're screwed.
Plus, you'd have to split with whoever else had it, right? It's not like you're going to get the whole pot out of that. So, yeah.
But it's just fun to think about that.
I know.
It would be this one guy. Yeah, I like these 4 horses. Okay.
That's right.
That's $5.
That's all I did.
That's all I did.
All right. So Mattress Mack. So a lot of listeners probably are familiar with him. His name is James McIngvale, and he's a businessman based in Texas.
Does he look like what you think he'd look like?
I think so. Don't you?
You do?
In his 70s?
Yeah, I think
he
70s.
looks like...
He looks more demure to me. I'm picturing some older guy who's really boisterous and flamboyant.
Well, I think he is. It's just he's older now.
Yeah. Because you see him on TV, he's like, oh, that looks like a nice guy.
Anyway, he is a very shrewd businessman, and he has a chain of furniture stores, throughout the country, and he loves to put on these promotions based on sporting events. So, for example, in the past, he has said, all right, if the Houston Astros, that's his favorite team, if the Houston Astros win the World Series, anybody who spends $3,000 or more at one of my stores, I'm going to refund your money.
Yeah, which isn't hard to do in a furniture store. So you buy one couch, right?
Yeah. And there are other terms and that kind of thing, and you have to do it with a certain amount of time. But anyway, that's what he does. And then to hedge these promotions, he makes big sports bets. Right.
So if he wins his bet, he has to give a bunch of money back, but he still ends up making money, and the people are so happy they're going to come back to his store again.
You know what? Great marketing too, right?
Yeah,
it's easy to,
wonderful. He's a brilliant guy.
So the difference, though, is that, again, in this example we're given with the World Series and things like that, when you bet on sports, and we're talking about most sports, a big bet, a big wager can come in and kind of move the line a little bit.
Right.
But anybody who's made that bet before the big bet comes in still gets the odds that the bet was at when they made
their bet.
Right. So, if I'll just throw out a number here. If you bet something that was 5-1, and then Mattress Mack comes in and throws millions of dollars on it, and it drops to 3-1, well, you're still going to get your 5-1 money because you bet before he moved the line.
Right.
But it's different in horse racing because it's parimutuel, right? The odds change based on how much money comes in and was bet.
Right.
The track is guaranteed a certain percentage, right? So,
you don't get your 5-1.
Right, yeah. So if this is the case, you bet when the horse was 5-1, and then he makes his big bet, and the horse goes down to 3-1. Well, that's what the odds you're getting now is 3-1. Now,
and consequently, that's why most horse bettors wait as long as they can to make their bet.
Right. That's exactly. If you're a sports bettor and you find a line that you don't agree with, you want to bet that early before the books find out about it. Right.
Well, you think it's off. You think that there's going to be money coming in that's going to change it, and you want to take advantage of that. In horse racing, it's the opposite. Yep. You want to wait till the end and see where the odds lay and see where you get a better value for your bet.
And Mike, you and I were talking about this when you know that Mattress Mack is going to make a big bet on the favorite, because maybe we didn't even mention that. The promotion was if the favorite wins the Kentucky Derby, then you get your money back for the thing.
And he determines the favorite.
That's the thing, right?
He gets to determine the favorite.
He's betting so much money. Now, obviously, he's not going to bet on a long shot, to make it the favorite, because he might not be able to move it that much. He's going to bet on a horse that maybe is already the favorite or close to the favorite.
Well, they were trying to figure out earlier in the day who he was going to bet on. Was it going to be...
Well, there was Zandon. Zandon was looking like the favorite initially.
And Taba was there. Yeah. And then there was also Epicenter.
Yeah.
And he could have bet on any of those and made them the favorite.
Yeah, right. As the day was going on, even though they were saying, we've got a co-favorites here at 5-1, Epicenter actually had more money riding on him at the time that Mattress Mack made the bet. Now, when he made the bet, the odds on Epicenter were 5-1 before he made the bet.
Right.
And then when he made the bet, it dropped to 9-2.
Yeah, 4.5-1.
And you and I were kind of surprised that that's all it moved. Right. And I even I went to a website that was live updating the amount wagered, and I don't know how accurate it was.
Right.
But it didn't look like he put $3 million down on Epicenter.
No,
to me, it looked like maybe somewhere between $250,000 and $500,000.
Yeah, and it's funny because yesterday they were saying he was going to bet between 2.5 and 3 million.
Yeah.
This morning when I turned it on, they said he was going to bet up to 4 million.
Okay.
And then it turns out I don't think he bet that much.
Well, maybe he made other bets that we'll find out about.
Yeah.
Maybe when people listening to this will know more of the story.
Right. Yeah, we don't know the whole thing yet. So,
but if you're a smart bettor and you know that the favorite is going to pay off quite a bit less because of one man's bet,
right?
You're probably looking for opportunities on some of the other horses.
Right.
Now, we are not horse bettors, so we're not claiming that we know. The smart
we do
thing
bet
to do
on
here.
horses. We just don't. We're not
experts.
We don't study
right?
it.
But you would think that they would look at because when he makes that big bet, not only do the odds go down on Epicenter, but the odds on all the rest of the horses go up.
Right.
Right. So
well, like Mo Donegal, that went up.
You were watching that, right?
Yeah.
Where was it? What did it move from to?
It went from 9 to 10.
Okay. After he made that bet.
9
to 1 to 10 to 1. After he made that bet. Yeah.
So, and that was a horse that kind of was considered had a chance.
Yeah.
So that would have been, if somebody liked that horse, they were very happy.
So this is kind of a unique opportunity for horse bettors when they know a big bet is coming in and not necessarily a smart bet.
Right.
This is a promotion, and he's a gambler, and he likes to, bet on things, right?
Yeah.
But this money's coming in, you kind of adjust what you're looking for and what values are there. Now, even though we're talking about this, in this case, I don't think many handicappers were looking at Rich Strike as an option. But still, maybe they put their money on, place or show. Right. I don't know how much Mattress Mack bet on place or show either. We were only talking about win.
We may never know that. He may have made other bets that he won on.
Yeah. But I think some of the smart bettors probably were really paying attention to that and trying to work around that if they wanted to bet on the race at all.
He was going to put a fairly large bet on Smile Happy, which is the child of a horse that he owned.
Oh, okay.
So he was wearing a hat that even said Smile Happy.
That's right. Yeah, I saw that.
And he was going to put a big bet on him. I think he was a little too far down in the rankings to make him the favorite.
He was like 16 to 1.
Yeah,
Smile
right.
Happy.
He couldn't bet enough to get him into the favorite.
It wouldn't make
sense. But he was going to
to
make a large bet on him.
Okay.
And I was kind of telling my wife I'd be happy if Smile Happy won. At 16 to 1 would have been an upset, right?
Here I go. I spend $5,000, buy a nice furniture set, a few tables, sofas, that kind of thing. And I'm watching Epicenter and thinking, this is free furniture, my friend. And then out of nowhere, this horse on the really, it was like, I was thinking, okay, this is how it's going to end. Epicenter and Zandon.
Yeah. Well, when they replayed it, I was telling my girls, the whole family's watching. I'm like, now look where he is right now. And they're like, which one is it? He's the guy with the jockey with the red hat. And he's not the closest one with a red hat. He's like 2 people back with a red hat. And they're like, really? Well, my God. And, he blew him away.
Quite a race and a fast race, too.
Yeah,
so very exciting. Another memorable Kentucky Derby. This time, I think for something positive, unless some scandal comes out of it a couple days
Turns
later.
out he's juiced.
That's right. That's the only reason. Yeah, and then it's that whole thing again.
Yeah, and then Epicenter is the winner.
Yeah.
And Mattress Mack.
Yeah, what does he do? Right? What does he do in that case?
Yeah.
He didn't win the bet. Oh, dear. Oh, boy.
Yeah, there might be lawsuits after that. Well, wait a minute. The favorite did win.
It would. Hopefully, you'd think it was in writing, right? It wasn't. Not that the favorite wins, but that the results, because that's what we talked about with Medina Spirit, right? It's not like everybody who bet on Medina Spirit, had to give back their money, after he was disqualified. So.
And I'm sure that this race was more legitimate. Bob Baffert was nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, no,
I didn't see his face on there at all.
He wasn't. They said he was in Arizona.
He wasn't even there. So. It's probably a fair and square deal.
Let's hope that it is. Let's hope it is, for the sake of horse racing, too.
Yeah. Oh, there was a big article, actually, I read online about the fate of horse racing today.
Yeah.
It's a big race, and a lot of people were saying it may be gone. And, here's something. I think you'll find this very interesting. Mm-hmm. I collected Sports Illustrateds for a long time. I've got a bunch of boxes. I just kept every issue. I'm going through them just this morning. And somewhere from 1992 or 3, I can't remember the exact date, I'm just looking at the covers. Mm-hmm. And there's is horse racing done?
This is the early 90s.
The early 90s, an article about, well, this is the end of horse racing. And I didn't have time to read the article again, but it must have been something about something happened or somebody was protesting and horse racing. It was just funny. This morning, I turned my eyes and said, look at this. Look, horse racing's gone.
All right. Well, and I've got mixed feelings about it, of course, too. But we'll see. We'll see.
That was 92.
That was a long time ago. But this certainly should help
its
reputation.
Right.
Unless Unless, like you say, there's a scandal we don't know about. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first. YouCanBetOnThat.com and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, let's move on to our voicemails. First up is Jess.
Hi there, this is Jess from San Francisco with a little trip report. I've been going down to Albuquerque to visit a friend that has cancer, is pretty sick, and I regularly stay at Isleta and have been playing craps there. It's been really nice. There's a couple of dealers that remember me every time and ask how my friend is doing. It's really nice to be an out-of-towner but still feel like I'm known there. Most of my trips end up lose a couple $100 here, lose a couple $100 there. But this last trip was amazing. I could not lose. It felt like redemption for all those times. You know, one session I'm a low roller, but, be up 300, another one up 150. It just felt so great. And then my friend said, I really want to go and play with you. Again, she's played with me twice. I taught her to play, and she did that ridiculous novice thing of doubling her money each time. So she just thinks it's amazing. So we go and didn't have much hope. We wait for a come out roll and buy in, and it ends pretty quickly. And then she's next up to roll, and she has a pretty nice roll. She rolled a couple of hard 10s and made the guy next to us a bunch of money because he parlayed. I'm up with her roll, she's up with her roll, and then it comes to my roll, and I have an even better one. And the same guy parlayed his hard 6 that I rolled, and then I rolled another one. So he won like $900 or something on that one roll. When I finally sevened out, she looked down at her chips, realized she had doubled her money, and I said, do you want to keep going, or do you want to just take your money and run? And she took her money and ran.
Good.
So this girl is such good luck, but it was just a really fun time. Highly recommend Isleta. I really enjoy playing out there. Love your guys' show. Thanks for everything you do. Bye.
Oh, thanks, Jess. That's a good story.
Great story. Yeah, that's a good way to start the podcast for something really positive.
Yeah, but I'm glad your friend was, let's get out of here.
Yeah,
I wish we could all be like that.
Yeah, I wish I could be like that. And I hope she does better. Really praying for her.
Yes. Yeah, our thoughts are with you and your friend. Good. Thanks for the story. All right, next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is William from Fort Worth. Hey, just a couple of things. First, I really enjoyed the trip report from Biloxi. I'm kind of intrigued by Midi Baccarat. I've never heard of that. I've started to look it up on YouTube and try to find some more information, but I can't find anything where anybody's playing it live or, recorded. There's just little out there about it. So is that pretty popular? Is that in most casinos, would you say? Or is it growing? I mean, it probably will based on y'all's rave reviews from Biloxi on it, but I'm going to seek it out and try to play it. Another on YouTube for the gambling community here, for your listeners, I'll tell you, my wife and I have kind of gotten hooked on slot pools that are on YouTube. I guess it's Brian Christopher Slots or something. But they're very entertaining. I mean, you talk about the ultimate form of degeneracy is us sitting around on a Friday or Saturday evening with a cocktail watching 30 minutes or an hour of other people playing slot machines. But it's pretty entertaining for us. If you like slots, it's entertaining. If not, you'd think it's the worst thing in the world. But I was just letting everybody know that. Lastly, one quick story from, I was at the Beau Rivage, I think probably 2.5 months ago. We took a junket out of Dallas-Fort Worth to Beau Rivage, and we got to play Turning Leaf, which was an awesome golf course. I highly recommend it. But so one evening, I'm playing. There are not many people in the casino. This is probably 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm playing a slot. I really need to go to the restroom. But I'd been playing this slot for a while, and it seemed like the bonuses were increasing. It's something, one of those where, and I didn't know, I should have known. I thought if I cashed out, all that stuff would go away. Now I know that's absolutely not true. Those bonuses stay up there for whoever's going to play next. So I hit the service button to see if somebody would come watch my machine because I didn't want to cash out. Well, that didn't happen for several minutes, and I had to go. So I turned the service light off. Went to the restroom, so I left my Corona there, my phone, which also includes, you can mark the red flags here, by the way, as the story goes on, my wallet, which is attached to my phone, which credit cards, ID, everything in there, and a $318 voucher in the machine. I go to the restroom, come back, it couldn't have been more than 3 minutes, 2:45, 3. I get back, I couldn't believe it, 0. No money in there, Corona's there, my phone, wallet, everything's there, and I was like, okay, so I immediately called security. Luckily, I wasn't tipsy or anything, which is surprising at one, or I probably wouldn't have even wanted to talk to anybody, but they were very nice. They said this happens all the time. They said, we'll check the video, which it did. It took about 10 minutes, but they said, yep, 20 seconds after I left, a guy walked up, pushed the button, walked to a cash machine, cashed it out. There's a machine about 10 yards away, and exited the casino. They said it took them about 4 minutes to do the whole thing. I said, does this happen a lot? They said, yeah, it does. I was like, God, I just pretty much trust people, and I haven't had any problems with that type of thing in a casino before. But anyway, to their credit, they said, would you be happy with a $300 free play? I said, that would be great. I thought that was tremendous. And they said, we won't do it again. I said, I get it. I appreciate it. It was dumb. Anyway, I thought that was just a story, a warning for everybody. But take care, guys. Bye.
So that's actually a pretty good story, too, Mark.
Yeah, that is a good story.
At the end I was like, oh, my God, they took his wallet and his phone and everything. Yeah. They didn't do that, and he got 300 free plays. Yeah. So that's great from the casino.
It is very good from the casino. And, William, it's great that you're a trusting guy. But, especially in a casino. You are very lucky they didn't run off with your phone and wallet. Yeah, that was what I was more concerned about.
Right. Forget the 300. I don't want to lose my wallet.
So, be glad that that's all they took.
Yeah.
And then in the future, even if you really have to go to the bathroom, cash out of your machine. Okay, there may be some bonuses there that some vultures will come in and take advantage of. Right. But it's better than losing everything on the machine and your phone and your wallet and anything else.
If you're with somebody, they just watch your machine.
Right. And he obviously wasn't.
And I wouldn't even trust, to ask somebody next to me, can you watch my machine? Because, that might be the person who takes it, right?
It's unfortunate, but good. Happy ending this story.
You know what? Him watching slots, I got to admit to something, Mark, and I'm not a slot player, but since the medication I'm taking now and not working and everything, everything's screwed up. So I end up falling asleep like at 11, and then for whatever reason, wake up at 1:30, and I'm up for 2 hours, and then I'm back to sleep. But I wake up, my wife's sound asleep. I grab the iPad and I play the free slot stuff on those.
You're not watching the videos
I'm not watching
on YouTube.
Video,
you're actually just playing virtual free money slots.
Right, free money slots.
Yeah.
But it's addicting. I mean, and it's fake. It's not even real money. I just won 18 million.
I know. When I came over to your house last night, you're coming out and I hear you say to Lynn, 54 million. I'm thinking, what's he talking about? Not just 54 million fake dollars.
Fake dollars. But it's addicting. You're sitting there and I'm playing and then, I want to win this major jackpot, right? And I get so close to it and I'm like, oh God. And my wife wakes up and like, what's wrong? Nothing. I didn't get the major. And she just gives me this look and rolls over like, what the hell's wrong with you? But they're kind of addicting, and watching those slot pulls is kind of addicting, right?
I'm not going to judge.
I mean, it doesn't hurt anybody.
That's true. Yeah.
And I want to let you know, just a little report.
Yeah.
I started with 1.2 billion.
That's what you started with.
Yeah.
That's what they just give you?
Yeah.
Let's start you off with 1.2 billion. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm up to 13.6.
Wow.
Of today. Yeah.
You've been really lucky on these virtual slots for no real money.
Right. I can cash that out for exactly nothing. But it is fun.
Well, William, you're asking about Midi Baccarat. Let's talk about that for a second. So there's a version of Baccarat called Mini, M-I-N-I, which you'll find at a lot of casinos, which is a pretty fast game where the dealer deals out all the cards. And
it's played on a blackjack type table instead of a big Baccarat table.
And there's not a lot of suspense to it. It's pretty quick and that kind of thing.
It's meant to be quick.
And then you've got your big money squeeze games, which a lot of times are in the high limit rooms, and that's when you see hundreds, thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars being wagered.
And that's on a big table and it's super slow.
Right. And the players get to touch the cards. And actually, if they want to, they can bend the cards and twist the cards and all sorts of different things. Well, in the middle is a game called Midi Baccarat, M-I-D-I. And that's what we were playing in Biloxi. Now, some Midi games will also allow players to touch the cards. Some will not, but some will. And so these were the games that we were getting excited about, these Midi Baccarat games where you could touch the cards.
Right.
And it's a slower game. There's a lot of suspense, if you want to call it that. You know, there's a lot of ritual to it. And we had a blast playing in Biloxi just because it's a very social kind of a thing. And we very slowly bend back the cards and turn and then flip them over if we had a good hand, But when it comes to all three of these games, for the most part, they all play the same. Now, when I say for the most part, there are some variations where, for example, you don't have to pay a commission if the banker wins, that kind of thing. But for the most part, you bet on player or you bet on banker.
Right.
Whoever is closest to 9 wins. And if you bet on banker, you have to pay 5% of all your winnings because there's actually a slight edge betting on the banker.
Right.
And the rules, whether or not cards are taken, additional cards, kind of like in blackjack, those are all predetermined. The players have no say in when a card is taken or not. It's all part of the rules.
Right.
So that's
the thing I don't like about Baccarat.
Right.
Because you really don't have any say in that.
No, you don't.
People bet tens of thousands of dollars. They have no say in it.
Yeah. It's, Mike, it's all the ritual.
Yeah.
For me, I'm going to go ahead and say that's the only thing that appealed to me.
The ritual.
Was the ritual.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's like slots. Now, we were talking about me watching slots. I don't love playing slots, but I enjoy the suspense when you need 3 kitties and you've got 2 of them, and that last reel's coming down. You're, come on. I enjoy that.
Okay.
You know, the actual what's on the machine and stuff,
okay.
it's not that exciting, but I enjoy the suspense.
All right. Well, so even though I think, after a few minutes at the Baccarat table, you'd still run for the craps table.
Right.
You would certainly enjoy this squeeze game.
Yeah, I'd get a kick out of it.
More than anything else, because there is some suspense to it. It's okay, my first card was a 9. Come on, let's see. Face card, card, so yeah. All right. Next up is Eddie.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Eddie from California. I just want to give you a short trip report to Reno and Lake Tahoe. I did over the weekend. I actually went to 6 casinos. I was on my own, so that was a nice trip. And what I wanted to let everyone know is that bachelor and bachelorette parties are going crazy there. Be prepared. Nobody was masking, and there was parties everywhere. For this trip, I just want to talk about tipping the crew. I noticed, since I went to 6 different casinos all playing craps, I noticed the different crew styles. And there were the silent crew who just really didn't say anything, just pushing out chips and running the money. They had low tips. I even had one crew person who kept complaining. He kept complaining how nobody was tipping, and especially during a hot roll. It just made me want to tip him less because he didn't know where my bankroll was at the time that I showed up. So complaining about tipping seems out of the blue. In comparison, the Harvey's crew, which I want to point out specifically, was awesome. They're really funny, and of course tips were going there. And then I was at the Hard Rock, and there was this one really young crew member, and he was chanting along with the Rollers. The Rollers was a bachelor party, and they were chanting the Rollers' name. So the young guy was chanting along with them, and of course every hit, everybody was cheering, and he was getting tips everywhere. Every player was throwing him tips. So I wanted to point out that when you go to a craps table, the vibe of the table really does affect tips, and wanting to get a feel from you guys. If you have a table where the crew really has low energy or is really quiet, do you guys tip less? I heard your podcast about new rookie dealers. I was at one of the craps tables, and the guy in the center, the one that pays out all the prop bets, he was clearly a rookie, and there was a lot of prop betting going on. So the other crew member, the number would hit craps number, I think it was 11 or 3, and she would actually lay out all the payments for all the people on her side. They were just sitting there on the come side. But the guy in the center was sitting there, and he kept using his fingers, pressing his fingers to his head, actually sometimes counting out loud. Okay, a $32 horn bet is $8 each number, which pays $15, and subtracting, and he kept doing that. And the woman just stood there looking off into space. The guy next to me actually asked, "What's all that money on the come bet?" And I said, "Oh, she's just waiting to pay out all the prop bets. She already knows what the amounts are. She's just waiting for the center guy to call out the number." So then he'd call out the number and she'd pass out the money. And actually twice he called out the wrong number and she just stood there. And then I think one time she said, "Try again." And then he came back with the right number. So I thought that was a pretty funny story for a rookie dealer, and how the pro dealers were just not helping him, but not saying anything either. All right. Thanks again for the podcast.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
thanks. Yeah, the stick person is in charge of the prop bets in the middle. So the dealers on the side really are not supposed to pay off those bets until they're instructed by the stick person.
How much to pay off.
Yes,
and they're both supposed to agree.
Yeah.
And then they pay it. It's a way of double checking to make sure the payoff's right.
But really, it's the stick person in charge. So in this example, the seasoned dealer, she already knew what the payouts are. She got them all ready and was just waiting for this new stick person to, actually work through it in his mind. But that's why they're not supposed to send out any of those bets until they hear from the stick person.
Right.
So that's why that was going on.
We see this all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Here is RingCon, because there'll be those 4 people on table. 3 of them will be veterans. 1 will be a new person. When that person's on the stick, the game slows way down, and they're trying to figure out what these payoffs are going to be, especially when people make unusual bets.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. If you're at a table with Dr. Mike, it goes stick person dealer, Dr. Mike.
Yeah.
So Dr. Mike has the final approval. No, you owe me 32. And then they're like, oh, yeah, sorry, Mike. So it's a 3-step process when Dr. Mike's
there's
at the table.
Three qualifications.
It is funny to see it because Mike, he has it all figured out ahead of time, right? Because he makes these bets all the time.
Well, I only have to worry about my bets, so they're already in my head. It's funny, though. It does matter a crew and the interaction between the crew and the players. It's so much more enjoyable.
For the tipping, you mean?
Yeah. Well, for
about
tipping and for just how much fun you have.
Oh, yeah, that's what we said.
Even when you're losing, if you have a crew that's pretty good and you're chatting with them or you're laughing, you feel like, okay, you got your money worth. You're losing and the crew never says a word or complain. The guy complaining, that's ridiculous.
Well,
it shouldn't even be in the casino.
No, and he would get in trouble from the casino if they knew that he was hustling for tips like that too. But if you and I go to a table, like we're on vacation, it's a crew we've never been with before, we will tip immediately just to, see how they react, that kind of thing.
Right.
And if things go well, we'll continue to tip. But if things don't go well, or if they're not recognizing it, or they're, in a bad mood, or they're hustling for tips, we'll stop.
Yeah.
I remember once, Mike, and Eddie makes a good point too. You don't know where Eddie is in this trip.
Yeah. It's like walking up to the cashier with, 5,000 and they say, oh, good night. And no, I lost 5,000. They don't know where you started.
They don't know. I remember one time, Mike, there was a guy at a table. His girlfriend was rolling and she was having a great roll. You were getting paid off on some center action. And he said something like, hey, how about a tip? Or something for his girlfriend.
Right.
And it had the opposite effect on you because you were down quite a bit of money.
Yeah,
right? Okay, it's different when it's an employee versus a customer. I don't know. It's kind of worse when it's a customer.
Yeah, it's kind of worse.
I should tip you, not the crew. Anyway,
right.
But
what are you doing? You just roll them. We're getting lucky.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm down 4,000. Why am I going to give her?
But it makes you even less likely. To tip us. Sure, that's for sure.
People always asking for tips. That does kind of infuriate me because when somebody does have a good roll and I'm up, I will tip the shooter, and I will tip the staff a lot all the time.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you a story. This will highlight how important a good crew is.
Okay.
So I go up to Harris to get my free play, and I'm at the craps table, and one of our friends and regular player there, Jimmy, is there.
Yeah.
He's a great guy, real nice guy. And the crew, they all speak Spanish fluently.
Yeah, right.
So they're talking in Spanish, ribbing each other.
Yeah.
And for those of us who can speak some Spanish, we're laughing too because they're just giving each other a hard time.
Yeah.
They're very friendly because we're all regulars. They know us all. Mm-hmm. And Jimmy's sitting there and he's talking to them in Spanish, teasing them. We're so close that you can actually tease the dealers and make fun of them.
Yeah, we're regulars and they understand.
They understand. They know, they're not offended at all. They give it right back to us.
Right.
So Jimmy's there, and then there's an older woman next to him, and I'm next to her on the other side. Mm-hmm. And she turns to Jimmy and says, how can you speak such good Spanish? Mm-hmm. And he turns to her and without a hesitation says, oh, I don't speak Spanish. I stayed at a Holiday Inn last night. Just as fast as you can be. And she looks kind of stunned like, well, that's weird. And I'm on the floor rolling. Yeah. I'm thinking, oh my God. But that kind of thing at a craps table is what makes your experience. I laughed all day about that. I went home, I was still laughing. And I was thinking, that's the kind of stuff why we like craps, right? Yeah. As opposed to like something where you really don't have as much, interaction with anybody.
It's more of a kind of one-on-one
just
thing.
Stuff like that especially when you're playing with friends. It's really a great game.
Yes. All right, let's hear from Bill.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Bill from New York State. A trip report here from the Lago Casino on Route 9B between Rochester and Syracuse. It's a non-smoking casino. All non-Indian casinos are mandated non-smoking in New York. I was there on a Friday afternoon, about 4 o'clock, a couple of weeks ago. The casino's open from 9 a.m. to about 4 a.m., depending on what day it is, so it's not 24/7. Their website says they have 66 table games, including 14 poker. The two crap games are open. One was a $25 minimum, and the other was a $10 minimum, but they both have 10 times odds, which is unusual. But you can't be fooled by 10 times odds. You need deep pockets to play that for any length of time, and you can get hurt. And then again, you can also win. I tried my best at $10. I'm a pass line and comeback player, and I seem to get every 4 and 10 for the whole day on my time at the table, so I didn't do very well. I played roll to win on the way out with my wife, and we were there less than an hour and on our way back to Syracuse. So that's my short report on the Lago Casino in Waterloo, New York. Thanks.
All right, thanks for the report. Yeah, he's right. 10 times odds, it really is more than most people are going to bet. Yeah.
Well, if you have $10 on the pass line, you're going to put $100 odds. Most people,
that's like
if they're playing a $10 table, they're not going to do that.
No.
And so why would you go to the 25 where,
Right,
I mean, if you were going to take full odds, you're going to take 250 odds.
Yeah.
And of course, you might go to the 25 because it'd be less crowded.
Yeah.
But if you were only, let's say, going to take 50 odds, you would rather play at the $10 table and have 10 and 50 instead of 25 and 50.
Right, yeah. So, it is kind of nice because a player like you, if we're at the $10 table playing with us, well, you probably are taking 10 times odds, right?
Yeah,
that kind of thing. But the rest of us, 2 times odds.
Right.
1
3
times odds.
Yeah.
No odds.
That's why we've said it many times. I wish they all had 100 times odds.
Yeah, and then it wouldn't even matter. It's
Wouldn't
like,
even
okay,
matter.
virtually no one's going to take advantage of it, but the option's there for people.
They're so terrified that somebody's going to come in with a bunch of money, take full odds at 100 times,
and wipe them out.
And wipe them out. To close down the casino. And they'll just make their money on raising the price of liquor at the bar.
I don't know. Maybe they've looked at their hold, because like at Cromwell, they used to have 100 times odds. Now they don't. That was probably more El Dorado than anything else.
Right.
But
casinos should be barred from having actuaries work for them. That's what I'm going to push for. That's what I'm pushing for when I'm whatever. What am I going to be? The head of the NFL, the head of baseball, and then
Commissioner of Gambling?
Commissioner of Gambling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. When I'm in charge of that.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Special appointee.
It's not an elected role.
Yeah. No, he was appointed.
All right, next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. I was at a local casino this weekend and I was doing pretty good on the slots. But after dinner, I decided to play some blackjack and sat down at a table with 3 guys that were there for a bachelor party. The pit boss came over to swipe my player's card and said it was a new dealer in training, so things might be a little slow. About 10 hands in, she accidentally flipped up her down card. It was a 10. She called the boss over, and he said it's fine, just proceed with the hand, while her up card was an ace. So naturally, next step, she asked if anybody wanted insurance. I was the only one at the table to take the insurance, which baffled me. I didn't really question why the other guys didn't. They were carrying on their own conversations and doing their own thing, and I didn't want it to turn into some big scene with the pit boss trying to replay the hand with surveillance and slow things down even more. Well, a few hands later, she did the same thing. I'm not sure if it was an accident again or if she was just trying to pull the cards out of the shoe too fast, but at this time it was a 3 that was exposed. Her up card was on a 6. I had a hard 15 and motioned to hit. All the bachelor party all said, well, what are you doing? You don't hit a 15 against a 6, and the dealer peeled off a 5 for me, and I was sitting good at 20. Everyone else stayed on their lowish hands, and the dealer hit her 9 and got a queen for 19. I was the only one that won, and all the other guys requested to color up, not wanting to play with an idiot like me. Am I an idiot for hitting a hard 15 against a known dealer 9? I guess if I didn't hit, everyone would have won, but I feel like they were the idiots. I love the show, and just had a unique experience, and just wondering what you guys would do. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Everybody would have won if you played it correctly.
Right.
But you can't look at it that way. Of course you're going to
played it correctly because you saw the down card.
That's right.
I mean, what was wrong with them?
They obviously weren't paying attention. I mean, they didn't
obviously. Oh, no, I never take insurance. I want to be fair. I never take it. I know I'm going to lose. I never take insurance.
I know she has blackjack.
Yeah, I just like a fair game.
But it is funny when somebody, chastises you, not knowing the whole thing. Like, you idiot.
Right. Hey, that's the secret to life. Until you know the whole thing, keep your mouth shut. Jeez.
You're saying this?
Yeah, I'm saying this.
I got to remember to bring this up.
Yeah.
Next time we're driving in the car.
I got you last night with a faux pas you made.
What was it?
Yeah, you're talking about Michael Jackson.
Oh, yeah, that's right. All right, not worth repeating on the show.
No.
All right, very good. Yeah. All right, next call.
Hello, Dr. Mike and Mark. I hope y'all having a wonderful day. I hope you're doing much better, Dr. Mike. I was just calling about the caller that called about the Wendover Casino and said that he didn't need a credit card. Oftentimes I'll stay at the Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas. And if you're a diamond or above, because we don't have to pay for our resort fees because it's covered, I don't have to give a credit card. The only time that I need a credit card to hold a deposit is if I plan on charging anything back to the room or if I have a resort credit. So I'm sure they probably weren't mistaken, and that's probably the same policy that they have at Wendover if you have a resort credit, or if you don't have to pay those incidental fees, then I guess you don't need a credit card. I hope you have a wonderful day. Love the podcast. Second time caller, long time listener. Have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.
Okay, thanks,
Olivia.
Yeah, even though we're 7 stars, they usually ask for a credit card.
Yeah, I think every casino kind of has their own policy.
Yeah, but
if I have had them say to me, "Do you plan on charging anything to the room?" And if you say no, they don't take a credit card.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because they have all my information.
Right.
They would know if I trash the room. They'd know how to get a hold of me.
Right. And if you're Diamond or 7 stars or one of the higher tiers at the other places, and you're already getting a free room anyway, and you say, no, I'm not going to charge anything to the room, is it okay if I don't? Yeah.
And if you do
I never even really thought about it that way.
And if you do say yes, we plan on charging our meals or something.
Sure.
Then, of course, they need a credit card, right? Yeah. Just in case.
Good. Well, good. Thanks, Olivia. Good advice. Yeah. All right. Let's hear from our good friend, Eamon.
Hey guys, Eamon from Anytown, USA. 2 quick trip reports. That's hard to say. March Madness opening weekend. We knew it would be busy, but it was a madhouse. 7 of us go every year. We love to play craps together, but we could not even come close to getting all 7 of us on the table. When we were able to get 2 or 3 of us on the same table, not even the same side, it was always a crapless table. It seems like there's a proliferation of the crapless tables happening across Vegas right now, or maybe just MGM properties. I'm not really sure, but wherever we went, Park MGM to New York to Aria, crapless tables were the only time we could get 2 or 3 people on a table. I did see one thing that I had never seen before, which was a $500 minimum table, and that was over at the Flamingo, which I found quite interesting. Obviously, it was set up for a particular high roller. It was just the 2 people playing. Just an interesting sight to see that much money being thrown casually on a place bet. Next trip, I went to London last week and decided to knock off the Hippodrome from my bucket list. I knew from this show and through others that the craps table is down at Lola's in the basement. So once I got registered, I immediately head down there, and it's just like a burlesque show or drag show happening, and people are up singing at the piano. It was quite entertaining, but I was there for the gambling, so didn't stay too long and watch. Went back upstairs, talked to a few people. They mentioned that the craps table is actually on the top floor at the Casino of the Gods. So headed up there, tried to get on the craps table, but it was extremely busy. Shooters were doing well, so there was no chance of me actually getting on unless I probably wanted to wait an hour or 2. But I thought, well, I'm in Europe, or kind of Europe. I might as well go try my hand at roulette, even though it's not really my game. They had single and double zero, except in place of the double zero, it was an H for Hippodrome. I eventually found a spot on a single zero table with a 5-pound minimum, and I placed some inside numbers, and then I went to place, I think, black or red, and the dealer was like, actually, it's 50 pounds on the outside. So roulette not being my thing, I wasn't about to start putting 50 pounds, which is like $70, just on black or red. It's just not that interesting to me. So I was like, all right, well, I do enjoy blackjack. I'll go play that. Immediately got wiped out playing blackjack pretty quickly. So it was a short trip, to say the least. I did get a free pen out of it, so that was good. At least I walked away with something. The other thing I would say about the casino is it is actually quite interesting how they really cram like the blackjack tables are touching each other. Like, it's total opposite of Vegas, how they really cram you in and don't seem to care too much about the space that you would sort of see in other like American casinos. Anyways, that's about it. Appreciate the show and speak soon. Thanks. Bye.
All right, great. Thanks for the report.
Thanks, yeah.
So it sounds like at the Hippodrome, they've moved the craps table from the basement to the upstairs. We had never heard about it being really cramped at the tables there, so that's interesting.
Yeah, the only European casino I've been in, well, a couple of them in Germany, and they were not cramped. I mean, they were wide open.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was kind of like Bellagio or something, where there was even more space. I mean, they were real wide open.
All right.
So, but I have heard that European casinos can be pretty cramped.
Kind of tight spaces. Yeah.
Which, actually, that makes it for a little more excitement.
Well, and it depends on how much room you have to work with, too, right?
Right. Well, and it's more exciting when people are close. You're not in some big cavernous, warehouse. And so
that is interesting to hear about the $500 minimum table at Flamingo. Yes, obviously it was there for, a high roller.
Right.
But you think, okay, Caesar's Palace, Flamingo.
Yeah, but you know what it is? Some guy who likes Flamingo for whatever reason.
It's kind of the last.
It's actually better than putting a reserved on the table.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
People look at that and they say, they're wasting a table for this one guy.
Yeah.
And it kind of is offsetting in a way. When they put 500 minimum, they know that no one else is going to play.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right.
Yeah.
And the guy gets it all to himself, which is what he wanted.
Right.
He just wanted to be left alone.
Yeah,
and
that's a good
roll.
point. He's talking about seeing more crapless craps tables. And yeah, I think we've seen more than in the past. Let me ask you this, Mike. So we've talked about how some of the rules in games have gotten worse over the years, like 6-5 blackjack, 000 roulette. And we've always come back and said, well, at least they haven't changed with craps. If anything, it's gotten better. 3, 4, 5 times odds, 5 times. Because back in the old days, it was double odds was, the big deal, right?
Yeah, that was it.
So what if the plan by the casinos to make more money at craps is just to replace all the craps tables with crapless craps? Not only is there a higher house edge,
right,
but don't players can't play. There's no no lay bets or anything like that.
And knowing casino minds, they probably think that, no don't players, we're going to win. It's those don't players who have taken all of our money.
And now I hope I'm not putting a bug in casinos' ears here, because I would hate for that to happen.
Right. Talk low.
But maybe,
talk lower.
Maybe this is the way that they do that. This game that I thought they couldn't change.
They're introducing because I have seen a lot more crapless craps. Used to be the only one I even knew of anywhere in Vegas was at the Stratosphere.
Right. Well, that was where it was created, right? Bob Stupak.
And that was the only one when we were in our olden days.
Yeah. But I told you when I was in Biloxi at Harrah's, they had 2 craps tables, one regular, one crapless.
Right.
When only one table was open, it was always the crapless.
Right.
So,
Well, you can play crapless just like a regular craps table.
Well,
you just don't make a line bet.
Okay. Well, then that's a pretty big qualifier, though, right? Because that's one of the best bets you can make at the table is a line bet. Yeah, sure. If you're just making place bets, it's the same.
Or don't take odds. You could still make a line bet, just don't take odds.
Well, no. Take odds, because the odds are still a good bet.
Yeah, right. But, that's true. Odds are good bet.
But pass line and come bets now have a much bigger house advantage, right? So that's the problem.
Yeah, place bets are the same.
Place
and
bets,
then you wouldn't have to do 2, 3, 11, 12 if you didn't want to.
So if that's all you do, if you never make pass line or come bets, then there's no difference.
Out the same.
But again, those are 2 of the lowest house edge bets you can make. So,
those are the bets you want to make.
I hope that doesn't happen.
And I'm glad he got a free pen, because you're always happier when you get something.
Yes.
Yeah. Even if it's a pen, a 6-pack of Coke, whatever, even if it falls apart the next day, at least when you're walking out, you think, well, I got this. This is my $500 pen.
That's right. I stuck it to him.
Yeah, I stuck it to him. I can't believe how much I've stuck to those casinos.
Got a lot of pens at home, Dr. Mike?
A lot of 6-packs of Coke.
That too.
When we have a casino, we're giving away better gifts, like a fillet of salmon that's been vacuum packed and sealed in a thing. Here's your salmon.
That's great. Refrigerated as soon as you get home.
Refrigerated as soon as you get It's vacuum packed. It'll stay for 5 years in the freezer. I wouldn't recommend eating it after 1, but you can leave it for up to 5 years.
All right, I'll make a note. One more thing for our casino.
I have a lot of it at home in our freezer. Fish that we've never eaten. Oh, I forgot that was there.
Yeah. You're finding, All right, next up is Emily.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Emily from Houston. I am a first-time caller, but long-time listener to the show. Wanted to call in and give you a trip report for a Vegas girls trip we took the 3rd week in April. There's about 10 of us that go every year. We've been going for 16 years. We love to play craps, and 8 of us were able to go this time. So we hopped on the plane on a Thursday morning. They had just lifted the mask mandate 2 days prior, so no mask on the airplane. We were high-fiving the flight attendants. It was just so nice to have some kind of normalcy. Showed up in Vegas. We stayed at the Nugget downtown, which is kind of a change for us. We usually stay on the Strip, but we had so much fun downtown last time that we decided to spend all of our time there. So we stayed at the Golden Nugget and the Carson Tower. Very clean, comfy beds. I'd highly recommend. It's just a beautiful casino, and we just had a ball there. Went downstairs to try to find a craps table. They had $15 tables at the Nugget, $15 tables at Fremont. Finally ended up at the Four Queens. They had a $10 table and all of us could get on it. So we hopped on, ended up playing for 3 hours. We just had a ball. They had fantastic pit bosses there. It was just a really great time. Left up a little bit, went over to Pizza Rock for their happy hour from 3 to 6. $2 off beers, $7 pizzas. It was really great. Then walked over to the Downtown Grand. We got on a $5 table on a Thursday, late afternoon. Very friendly dealers, no smoke, very nice casino. We loved playing there. Found out from the dealers that they open their craps tables at 11 o'clock every morning, and they are $5. So we went the next morning, got on the tables, 2 tables, $5. So there is hope for the cheap craps player yet downtown. Just one story to tell while we were there. We were about to go to dinner. I had about 2 minutes. I was rolling. I had some money on the hard 6 and on the hard 8. I think the point was a 6. Really wanted to hit the 6. I never hop anything ever. And I just said, you know what, hop the hard 6. Sure enough, rolled the hard 6. We were jumping up and down, screaming, yelling, quickly cashed in our chips and went to dinner. So it was a great time. Highly recommend downtown for anyone who is going to Vegas in the near future. You know, it's changed a lot and it's just so much fun. Keep up the great work, guys. I love listening to your show. You guys crack me up. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks, Emily. Yeah, it's so satisfying when you make a bet that you never do.
Right.
And then it hits, right? You know,
right.
Like every once in a while, I don't make side bets. Yeah. But it seems like when I do make a side bet, I hit it more often than I don't. It's such a good feeling.
The best thing about you making side bets at Harris Rincon,
all right,
because they know us, everyone's excited. Oh, Mark's betting the all tall, all small. It's like a casino announcement.
The pit bosses are coming over.
Yeah,
What's
over
going
the announcer. Table 501. Mark making a. It's true. Even all the players. Oh. I get the biggest.
All my bets are off.
I get the
Mark's making a side bet.
I get the biggest kick out of that. It's funny when Emily was talking about, you know, getting up, going to Golden Nugget, you know, $15 tables. Yeah. And the first thing that popped in my head was, oh God, head to Downtown Grand.
You know, it's funny. They talked about having a good time at Four Queens, and our experiences there are kind of mixed. It's sometimes, but it's true. We always have a good time at Downtown Grand,
and it's wide open there. Around there's a lot of room. It's nice that we've never had a bad dealer there. No, they're friendly.
You know, when we go there, we kind of feel bad because there aren't many gamblers there.
Well, it's kind of out of the way a little bit.
Well, you're right. Yeah,
you know,
do
it's
have
a little
to,
out of the way.
Yeah, walk down the scary street to get
right. And you know, walking down that street at night might be a little I don't know if we should do that. Yeah. But during the day, you know, it's fine, and it's a great little casino. I like it.
Yeah, agreed. And the low limits still.
The low limits are great, especially if you're there, like obviously Emily was with her friends and wanting to have a good time. Right. They're not so interested in, you know, coming home with $10,000. They're just interested in having a good time.
Yeah, and they can all get on a table and it's low limits. Oh,
right.
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
Perfect scenario. Yep. I'm surprised, though, she didn't go to the D or Golden Gate.
Well, you know, even though we like playing certainly at Golden Gate, that is crowded. That can be quite crowded. And you're not going to find $5 tables there either. So.
No, and you're not going to get 8 people on a table.
No way.
Which is true.
Right,
I mean, any
way.
time really.
Yeah.
It'd be odd.
Yeah. All right, next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Alex from Atlanta, Georgia. Wanted to give a trip report on the Bahamas, specifically Atlantis. I was there probably about 3 weeks ago. Table minimums were 15 and 25. However, what I've noticed, this is my 3rd trip there, Atlantis, or at least Bahamas, seems to attract high rollers. There, I've seen the highest buy-ins. There was a guy that reserved half the table. He bought in for $150,000 one night. He doubled it, had $300,000, came back the next day with the $300,000, and then walked away with $887,000 over a 3-day period. He did reserve half the table for the entire 3 days that I was there. And I'll be going back out for Memorial Day weekend. We'll be staying at Baha Mar, which is another property there in the Bahamas. It's the competing casino with Atlantis. First time us being there for our anniversary. and I want to see if any of you have been there before. If y'all have any feedback on the tables over at Baja. Also, where have you seen the most action in terms of buy-ins at a craps table? Look forward to hearing from you. Bye.
We've never personally stayed at Baja Mar. I think we've had some trip reports, but it might have been a while back. If anybody out there has any interesting things to say about Baja Mar, give us a call, let us know, or email us.
My brother's been to Atlantis several times. Yeah. You know, he loves it. He likes it, but there are high limits. Yeah. He was a little disappointed on some of the limits. Yeah. You know, even blackjack, you know, he couldn't find anything under like $50 ever. You know, for as many casinos as we've been to, Mike, I've never seen really sick action at a table, money-wise. I think you have, though. For whatever reason, it's been on trips that I haven't been with you. Right. So my wife and I were at Mirage, and it was just her and I, and a guy walked up to the table, bought in for $100,000. Oh, wow, yeah. And he was wiped out in like 4 rolls. Yeah. I mean, it was just terribly cold rolls. Just placing all the numbers. Placing all the numbers as much as he could and everything, and then just turned around and bought in for another $100,000. Yeah. And then we left because my wife said, I can't handle this. She did not like watching it. I mean, I loved it. I was on cloud 9, and she was like, no, I don't want to watch this. Unless somebody comes up and is just immediately annoying or a terrible person. Right. Oh my gosh, it would be so fun to watch somebody win tons of money. Gosh, to see somebody get wiped out like that. Yeah, I've seen a lot of big buy-ins, but I've never seen anyone win a lot on them. I've seen them get wiped out a lot. Isn't that funny? With as much as we've been, now we don't always go to high roller joints, but it would be kind of fun to see. You know, I was just thinking too about, he's saying, you know, somebody got half the table. I remember you and I were at Caesar's Palace, and there was a table reserved. Mm-hmm. Which you used to see at Caesars all the time. A lot, yeah. Every night there'd be a table reserved and nobody playing on it. They're waiting for the guy to come down and play. Right. But the table was reserved. There was one guy and a couple of girls were with him playing. And we walked up to the table and we're standing there and I look, it's Mark Messier. Oh, okay. And the reason I thought about this is because he had a horse in the Kentucky Derby today. The Messier, yeah. Messier. Yeah. But there was Mark Messier playing craps. And, he probably wanted it reserved so he didn't get bugged by a lot of people, which I understand because he wants to have some fun and he doesn't want to have to talk to fans all the time. Right. But I was just telling my wife today, because when we saw his horse in the Kentucky Derby, he was huge. Was he? Remember, he was a big man. Isn't that funny? Because you don't think of hockey players as necessarily needing to be that big, right? Yeah. Well, some of them are. I understand. Yeah, I mean, it's a rough sport. Don't get me wrong. Rough sport. But I stood next to him and I thought, oh my God, if that guy checked me at full speed into the boards, I would never walk again. Yeah. I mean, I would be crumbled on the ground. He was huge. Yeah. And it just, you watch it on TV, even when I've been to hundreds of hockey games, when you're in the stands, you're looking, they're big, they're fast, but you don't, until you stand right next to them, it was like intimidating. Well, how many times have you been watching like a football game and there's some running back and it's like, oh my God, he's so short. And it turns out he's 6 feet tall, right? It's just the other guys are 6'8", 6'9". Yeah. And the other thing I'm going to mention about Mark Messier, see, that's how I'm going to be when you're in the World Series of Poker. I'm going to be intimidating to people, Mark. Oh, okay. I'm going to walk. It's not my size. It's going to be my attitude. I think it's your size, too. If you want me to might be my size, too, which has increased exponentially in the last year. All right. Well, I appreciate that, Mike. I'm going to put the pressure on you to put the pressure on other players. And then I'm going to, in your face, Messier. That's right. 6 ace in your face. What? I had Jack 10. All right. Last call.
Hey, Dr. Mike and Mark. Love the show, Mark, but it's high time Dr. Mike gets top billing after nearly 300 episodes. Hey, I have a short trip report to Soaring Eagle in central Michigan and a proud moment as a father. My son approached me a couple of months before his 18th birthday and asked if we could get a room there the night before and walk into the casino right at midnight as he turned 18. Soaring Eagle is one of the few clubs in Michigan that has a legal age of 18. Well, you can imagine how proud I was as a dad to raise a son who wanted to gamble the moment he turned 18. My vision was to approach the guard right at midnight, maybe a large burly man who would check his ID, look at his watch, smile, and wish us luck. But what we got was nothing. No guards, no greeters, nothing. We just walked in and we were never carded. And we were wondering why we waited till midnight. He was liking a kid in the candy store, though, and it reminded me of my very first trip to Vegas. We played some crowded $15 blackjack, which is more than he makes in an hour, by the way. Couple of hours of slots, and as we were heading back to the room, we passed the craps table. "What's this?" he asked me. "I'll teach you after you've made it through 4 years of college, son. Love the show. I know how hard you guys work to make it seem easy. This is Dennis in West Michigan. Thanks for all you do."
It is a great call.
Thanks, Dennis.
Huh? Yeah.
That's a great call. Yeah, and you know, Dennis, for being such a great father, when I'm appointed to my positions, I'm going to have Dennis on my staff.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
okay.
Dennis, we'll share the paycheck. I don't care.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I hope his son, gets through college well, so he learns craps eventually.
Yeah.
Talking about you being top billing, he said, "Hi, Dr. Mike and Mark. Look, I've known since episode 1 that you are the star of this show, all right?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Make no mistake. It's just that when people say Dr. Mike and Mark, it almost sounds like I'm also a doctor, which I am definitely not. All right? So at least when you say Mark and Dr. Mike, it's clear you're the doctor.
Okay.
But you are the star of the show, Dr. Mike.
Oh, come on.
It's true. Yeah.
You know what I got a big kick out of is he's talking about going with his son. And it really is. When I go with my dad, when he was still going, I had so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
Just because he's more of a character than I am.
Yeah, it's true.
And then, with your grandpa, remember your grandpa?
That was so great going with him. Yeah.
Till the day I die, I'll remember your grandpa. We were all three eating a hot turkey sandwich, open-faced turkey sandwich.
Turkey.
And your grandpa just looks at you and I and said, "I think we need more gravy."
Extra gravy.
Extra gravy.
And it was like, brilliant. Of course.
Of course, that's what you need.
Oh, and we all got extra gravy, and it was wonderful.
Yeah. It was just, I think that was at Four Queens.
No, you know what? It was at Mirage. Remember, we made a special trip down to the Strip. We were staying at Four Queens. You got that right.
Yeah, I remember we were staying at Four Queens.
Memories.
Your grandpa was quite elderly at that time.
Well, elderly. He's probably your age.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
He was a little slow moving around, but still was all there and had a blast, and it was just great.
Okay, that's me. You just described me. But it is a great thing, and it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's going to the casino or, if you're a golfer and you take your son golfing,
something
you're
that
so
you really
proud
enjoy,
of them when they do something like that. Like my daughter asking, well, how old do you have to be to bet at the Kentucky Derby? You have to be 18 or 21.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, as soon as it is, we're going. Because I was telling them today, I want to go to every major sporting event. I've been to a World Series.
Oh, to the big ones. Okay, I see.
I've been to a World Series. I've been to a Super Bowl.
Okay. Have you been to a Final Four?
No, I have not been to a Final Four.
So Final Four, you probably need to go NBA championships, NHL championships,
NHL championship.
Yeah.
I need to go to the Kentucky Derby.
Okay, right.
I've been there, but not on Kentucky Derby.
What about like Indy 500? I mean, are these
Indy
all the things you're
500
thinking of?
and the Daytona 500 are the two car
what about,
races
like,
I want to
Masters?
go to.
I mean, are you really thinking?
I want to go to. I was thinking the British Open, but I wouldn't mind going to the U.S. Open or the Masters.
Okay.
I've been to golf. I just haven't been to those. Right? I haven't been to the big ones. And I was thinking that'd be a good thing to do. You can get tickets.
All right. Well, today is the first day of the rest of your life.
I'm going to the World Series of Poker.
Okay. Excellent. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some recurring donations. Jeremy at the Color Up Craps YouTube channel, from James, from Kurt. And we also got a donation recently from Michael. He didn't leave a message with his donation, but thank you very much, Michael.
Thank you.
Hey, be sure to check out our TV listing showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks at youcanbetonthat.com/TV-listings. And our list of gambling-related movies at youcanbetonthat.com/movies. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonthat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at youcanbetonThat and on Facebook at facebook.com/youcanbetonThat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review of the show. We love getting your feedback. Got anything for us at the end here, Dr. Mike?
Well, Mark, I know you're gambling in 2022 has not been as good as it was in 2021.
Oh, it's like night and day. Oh, it's been terrible.
Yeah, it's funny how that evens out, isn't it? But I really am excited you're going to the World Series of Poker.
I am too, yeah.
I mean, even if I don't go, I'm very excited. And if I don't go, I'm going to be glued to my phone for, live updates on how it's going.
All right. Yeah, I'll text you as I sit there, waiting for the next hand to come.
I had 10-6. I folded.
It's Omaha, Mike. I'm going to have 4 cards. I had 10-6, 4.
Well, that's what I meant.
Okay.
10-10-6-6.
I might play that. No, I won't.
No,
what am I guessing? Of course I won't.
That's the worst possible hand.
It's not the worst possible hand, but I'm not playing 10s and 6s.
It's pretty well up there. 2 pair in Omaha in your hand.
Especially when it's that.
If it's aces and, 2s or
right. Well, of course, they're different things, but all right.
But 2 medium pair is not good.
That's how Hold'em players get fooled in a game like Omaha. It's like, oh, wow, I've got 2 pair.
Right. Well,
and then they end up making a full house and losing to a better full house, right?
Right.
Something like that. So,
right.
Yeah.
Because that pair on the board is what kills you.
Yep.
Right. But anyway, so that's exciting news coming up, and we'll have another podcast.
Oh yeah, before then, yeah. So I'll talk about it more then too.
Yeah,
so
yeah, it'll be exciting. It'd be nice if a whole group of us could go.
Oh, I know. Well, some of the poker guys were talking about coming along too.
Were they?
I don't know if they play in the same event or not, but
But we could get a real raucous cheering going on. Makes it on TV, and not for a good reason.
That's right. That's right. An embarrassing moment for a player at the World Series of Poker.
Right?
All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night.
El Cajon? That's the anus of San Diego.